Smart 24, driving business.
We'll be back from the break. It's 27 minutes to the top of the hour. You're still watching Smart Men's Business. I'm Andrew Barije. I'm with Masi Katsime together with Joram Paul Sunko as we are driving your business this spiritual morning. But of course, before we get into any discussion, don't forget the markets on the Zama platform have already opened. What are you waiting for? Star 292 hash is simply the USSD code, which will avail you with quite lots of those options where you can choose to buy government bonds and securities for just as little as 15,000. You get shillings, but of course you can still choose to invest more than that. But Zaba simply says start with 15,000 to make life much more easy for you. And well, the markets are open from 8:15 a.m. till 3:15 p.m. East African time, a Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can't really access these markets. But at least you have the rest of the 5 days to capitalize and make quite some huge profits for yourself there. Something very vital for your personal growth and development. Now Zaba simply says my money, my future, and now Texas Africa says do something new. Well, now kicking off to our on-ground discussions this morning, and of course still, as we know, it's the global road safety week, getting to see how best we can find ways to minimize on road accident victims. And you know, we see this has quite a strong impact when it comes to the country's prosperity. You know, in the guest said something that for citizens, like the locals, how safe do you feel, Masi, when you're walking on the road?
I must say I'm never safe, really. As I'm traveling back home, if I'm coming back I'm coming to work, I'm always on my not my knees, but on brain that I reach safely to where I'm going. Definitely, it's not safer. I'm never safe.
What about you, Joe? I mean, how do you see?
You know, my biggest worry and concern has always been around drivers. You see, we have an issue with drivers and how they normally carry themselves, the discipline on the road, especially the vehicle drivers. You get to realize that at times, most of them are on their phones while driving. And this is something that is this is something that we really need to check on as individuals, I should say, because of the fact that the life of the third party, normally the third party is that particular person who's not driving, or the pedestrian. He's the person you're supposed to be looking at more, as well as you're looking out for yourself. Because at the end of the day, like Masi says, at times when you're traveling, it is always, you have to, pray to God for journey mercies. You never know what is going to happen in the long run. And with the continuous rate of poor infrastructure that we have as roads, and then also, the kind of vehicles that we have, the mechanical conditions attached to the same, you want to, put yourself in a situation that at times the impact of the road insecurities also felt by individuals themselves in regards to the kind of trauma. If you're to look at the fact that if you're living in an area that is, for example, a highway that is always recording accidents and the rest, you will definitely be worried, I should say. So it is kind of the same situation. But if we are to look at the progress of the country, there are lots of safety measures that are supposed to be put in place, and then to ensure that people move with this kind of confidence that because first of all, even when you're a pedestrian, for example, you are moving on the sideways, you'll definitely see a border person using that particular pavement. Or at times there are vehicles, and to make matters worse, you look at a vehicle that is actually of a government official also using that same pavement just to beat the traffic jam. So at the end of it all, it becomes very unbecoming, and the reason as to why we have issues to do with what I could actually call different poor road use is because of the fact that we have no discipline whatsoever in regards to how we use these roads, especially the drivers And of course, because it is very rare for a pedestrian to start walking in the middle of a highway, it is normally the drivers and the riders who normally get into the ways that they are not supposed to be passing through. So as we continue to look at the fact that the road insecurities, I think we have to look at the discipline we possess as individuals using these roads and different road networks.
Well, I think this points us back to our morning call about the proposed fine for those that
for overspeeding.
Yeah, for overspeeding.
2 million Ugandan shillings.
2 million Ugandan shillings.
It does seem to be too harsh for now, but you get to look at the fact that maybe that penalty will scare off people, to at least maintain a certain speed at which they are supposed to be driving. Because at times, there's a certain speed you can't drive when you're in a busy center. Because at any one moment, you're either going to knock someone or you will actually, mistakenly, have an issue in the long run, and then see your vehicle, rebounding and all the rest. These are cases that normally happen, even on highways, where people actually going up country, and you hear of accidents where the driver might have, slept off, dozed off, whatever you call it, or maybe have had a technical issue in the range. The brakes got delayed. So you look at all these cases really, and as they go, it takes us back to the fact that we need to maintain the kind. I think it goes back to the discipline, like I've actually mentioned, that when you look at the 2 million be fair enough, simply because it is an amount where everyone will be scared of paying it as a fine if you're caught overspeeding past the limit. Things that we need to work on, and especially the discipline.
Yeah, when we're having in the interview, we discussed speed governance, which were kind of vanished away somehow. They vanished away, and somebody can easily escape a fine. There's some people that have vehicles that can actually overtake these vehicles that are really fast enough that he can commit a crime and continue. You've seen instances where a vehicle knocks down somebody and it continues running. And Engineer Cuthbert here, he said that according to him, it feels like maybe we could restore speed governance on public transport. And of course, for you, the private vehicles, it's up to you. If you want, you die on your own. But at least if you're driving people, they are not your family members, well, you need to mind how you drive them.
There has to be ethics on the road, really. I think we should observe. And we have to have in mind that there are roads that do not have shoulders. There are roads that do not have, what should I say in the layman's language? This thing that prevents, that has, it's metallic.
What is it called?
Yeah, so you may doze off, and the car may sway, so you may find yourselves in the ditch. So we have to take precaution. We have to be aware that mostly for public transporters that we are carrying people of substance. These are future children. These are future leaders. This is humanity. So we have to keep in mind that they contribute a percentage on our economic growth.
And you see, with the statistics, about 5 to 29 years aged in Africa die of accidents, and we have the youngest population in Africa. And I think that is loss of potential productive population just dying out of accidents. And now this has long-term implications. And also the fact that the government of Uganda spends about 236 million Ugandan shillings to treat accident victims.
Could we say this is attributed to the fact that we driving, we go for driving school, and someone goes in for a week and they feel like they are ready to go on the road. Like they always say, you can never be ready, so you just go, whatever that's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
I don't think it's really ethical.
They say you can't. They used to tell us that you couldn't learn a bicycle not until it bangs you 3 times. So you can't learn a car without knocking. Well, that is just theories. Well, now let's get into the members of Parliament's opinion regarding, of course, road safety and how has it had an economic impact to the country's growth.
I have to say that it is regrettable that we had a disaster where the Katonga Bridge and the road has been washed away. This is something which is not caused by climate change like I'm hearing other people say. It is purely as a result of mismanagement and abuse of the environment. I belong to the Natural Resource Committee of Parliament, and we made a very clear report both in the 9th Parliament and the 10th Parliament to stop sand mining in River Katonga. And we made it very clear that the actions that are being done by the Chinese in extraction of sand from River Katonga is going to cause future disaster. And now it has happened. So you cannot go and begin blaming nature for nature responding to man's stupid actions. And I think this is something which we have to castigate, because some of the issues are rising out of climate change. They are as a result of Mother Earth responding back to the degradation being done by a human being. And now you can see how much money are we losing as a country. Already the diversion of the traffic, the delay of movement of goods and services, this is hitting hard the economy. We are already doing badly as an economy, and now to add such a disasters on top of the destruction that has been done to repair and put back this infrastructure is something that is really going to cost Ugandans a lot of money. So we have both lost the infrastructure, which was big money. We are going to add more new infrastructure, which is another big money, but we have equally lost business because the delay of movement of goods and services hurts the economy. So I think this is something which we need people to be accounted for, and those who are responsible must be brought to book.
The bursting of the bridge at Katonga has caused a very serious economic mayhem for our people, mostly for the 100-kilometer stretch from Mpigi to Nyendo. It is so horrible because people depend on the travelers along that road. Like for example, in my place, Luera, people always sell fish. A lot of fish is sold. Now there is nowhere to sell it. The Muchomo people and the plantain gonja sellers. Now the chicken people are in double jeopardy because those who are rearing chicken, the broilers now are sinking into their profits because they are eating into their profits. They are not having anybody to sell to, but the people who are selling them Muchomo also have no one to sell to. So it's a very serious agony for us, the people selling mangoes, tomatoes, and it's only 1 week to taking back our kids. So you wonder where the children will go. Now it is even a double tragedy for people at Nabingola and maybe Golo in the Honorable Nsibambi constituency, because they cannot come to Kampala, neither can they go to Masaka, because Luera has sunk in, and then also Katonga has broken away. But this is what, it's poor planning. We've been telling there is an alternative route via Kabula Soke to Villa Maria, but we've told government, please fix this road. It would be a good alternative, but it was a deaf eye, and of course the other one was even weaker. It was easily swept away. An increment in the mileage will need an increment in the prices. You cannot say 220 kilometers, somebody will charge you the same amount like 110 kilometers. That's impossible. They will have to double. But I'm happy, I think the tax operators just increased by 10,000 instead of 20,000, because it has doubled, but I think they've increased by 1.5 times, something like that. Because it was 20, now it is 30. It would have been actually even 40. But I'm happy with the tax operators. At least they adjusted the fares a little bit. I know they are also losing, because I also want them to earn. At the end of the day, they are also taking care of families. They must earn a living for their families. So it's a very sensitive area. Of course, this is a very important road to the whole of East African region, because this is the only way you can reach to Rwanda, Tanzania, and Burundi. In fact, up to South Africa, you can go up to South Africa. This is supposed to be a super highway. Like in the Sadaka region, they have super highways, but this was done as a collective responsibility for all the countries. South Africa being one of them and being a superpower and a first world country helped a lot in making sure that this infrastructure is put there. I would sign very happily that loan to borrow money to fix that, because we are borrowing money to fix the things which are actually, some of them that don't even make sense. Yeah, so I would prefer if they put on the infrastructure, it will be a very good thing.
You know, we just concluded our international convention on road safety here in Uganda, and I was elected the chairperson interim for African legislatures on road safety. This being a road safety week, we are appealing to all Ugandans to take seriously the traffic rules and regulations. We are also, today we have just passed an amendment of the bill where we want professional drivers permits to be effected and digitalized, because we need now to know you commit a crime here, your card is captured, and the system gets to know who is a bad driver. So we hope that we try to be as disciplined as possible so that we can save lives of Ugandans.
Well, of course, that's getting to understand how road insecurity has impacted the country's economic growth and development. And of course, it's the Global Road Safety Week, and all this coming in through. Definitely, as we are coming still to the end of the show, maybe before we sign out, Mercy, your last remarks, and Joram, but Mercy first.
Given it's Road Safety Week, we hope that our law enforcement makers will make it upon themselves to make sure that they, make it a point to enforce these laws, mostly this bill that has been proposed of a 2 million fine for those that will be caught over speeding. We hope that this will be enforced so that we have positive results. And this is a good eye-opener, mostly for the roads, and now an eye has been opened for roads to be looked upon to and worked upon to, given the cries that we've been having lately, KCCA and Kampala roads. So we definitely hope for the best.
Okay. Jeremy, your last remarks for the day. It's the Global Road Safety Week. Yeah.
Well, by the look of things as well, first and foremost, mine is simply to look at the discipline of how we conduct ourselves while using the road. The drivers, the border riders, and of course we the pedestrians who are using these roads. It's very, very much so to think about the fact that when you're using the road, think about anything that can happen. You shouldn't be so secure about uncertainties, because at any one moment, even though you're moving with a lot of confidence in anything you do, you have to be very cautious as an individual and as a group of people in regards to how you're using or how you're traveling. That would be my takeaway for this particular conversation.
Well, personally, as we'll sum this up, definitely I'm urging the Parliament, on top of the 2 million fine, please revive speed governance. There is lots of reckless driving out there, and we are going to lose more productive people as a result of that. There is quite lots. At least if it's not for the private vehicles, let the private people probably perish on their own, but for the public means of transport, we need speed governance revived to a serious notice, because some people commit crimes and they have vehicles that can actually run too fast. So that is something that I would urge as we are celebrating the Global Road Safety Week. Well, it's just 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Of course, as we come to the end of the show, all the way, great things from all that we started from our news recap, definitely coming in all the way to the different updates as we've been driving still on the topic line of Global Road Safety Week. Well, channel 320, that's on GOTV, channel 394 on DSTV. Sorry, 372, channel 372 on DSTV, and channel 320 on GOTV, and on our social media handles at Smart24 TV on Twitter, Smart 24 TV official, that's on Facebook, and Smart 24 TV Live, that's on YouTube, where you can get us at whatever part of the world that you will be at. And our website, smart24.tv, well, you'll be getting further insights regarding the stories that you really watch on the channel, and you get deeper insights from that regard. Well, I've been Andrew Barije with Masika Tsime, of course, and Jerome Paulson together running the show, and we shall be doing that all the way throughout 366 days a year. Well, expect us to be here to drive your business. Well, a very good morning from us towards you. Be productive, and I guess we shall link up tomorrow.
Up next on Smart 24 TV.